Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to test our understanding of microeconomics with some true-false questions. I'll ask a question and one of you will answer. After that, I'll ask you to explain why your answer is correct. Ready?
Yes, ma'am.
First question. Microeconomics studies the behavior of individual economic units such as consumers and firms. True or false?
It's true.
Correct. Can you explain why?
Microeconomics focuses on small units like individual consumers, businesses, or markets. It studies how they make decisions about resources and interact in specific markets.
Correct. Can you explain why? Next question. Scarcity exists because there are unlimited resources to satisfy human wants. True or false?
False, ma'am.
That's right, Bushra. Why is it false?
Scarcity happens because resources are limited, but human wants are unlimited. That's why we need to make choices.
Third question. The main concern of economics is to deal with the problem of scarcity. True or false?
The answer is true, ma'am.
Well done, Nishant. Can you tell us why?
Economics studies how to use limited resources efficiently to meet the needs and wants of people. Scarcity is the central issue.
Very good, Nishant. That's a key point in economics. Fourth question. The concept of opportunity cost is only relevant for business firms. True or false?
It's a false statement, ma'am.
Correct, Bushra. Why is it false?
Opportunity cost applies to everyone, not just businesses. It's about the next best alternative we give up when making a choice, whether it's for a firm, a person, or a government.
Excellent answer. Let's keep going. Fifth question. Normative economics involves objective analysis of economic phenomena. True or false?
False, ma'am.
That's correct, Ansh. Can you explain why it's false statement?
Normative economics is about opinions and value judgments like what should be done. It's not based on objective analysis.
Spot on, Ansh. Great understanding. Sixth question. Positive economics deals with what ought to be based on value judgments. True or false?
False, ma'am.
Right. Why is it false, Nishant?
Positive economics focuses on facts and what is happening, not what should happen. It's based on data and analysis.
Well done, Nishant. Let's continue. Seventh question. A production possibility curve, PPC, shows the maximum output combinations of two goods an economy can produce given its resources. True or false?
This answer is true, ma'am.
Correct. Can you explain why it's true statement?
A PPC shows the trade offs between two goods. It's based on the available resources and technology, and it helps illustrate the concept of opportunity cost.
Excellent explanation. Moving on to next question. Eighth question. The opportunity cost of producing more of one good is always constant, regardless of the amount produced. True or false?
It's a false statement.
That's right. Why is it false?
Opportunity cost increases as more of one good is produced because resources are not equally efficient in producing all goods. That's why PPCs are usually concave.
Very good, Nishant. Great job. Moving to next question. Ninth question. A PPC that is concave to the origin represents increasing opportunity costs. True or false?
The statement is true. A PPC that is concave to the origin represents increasing opportunity costs.
Correct, Bushra. Why is that?
A concave PPC means that as we produce more of one good, we give up increasingly larger amounts of the other good. This happens because resources are not perfectly adaptable.
Excellent, Bushra. You're all doing very well. Next question. In a market economy, the government makes all the key decisions regarding production. True or false?
False. It's a false statement, ma'am.
Correct, Ansh. Why is it false?
In a market economy, decisions about production are made by individuals and businesses based on supply, demand, and price signals, not by the government.
Perfectly explained. Fantastic job, everyone. Question 11. A rational consumer will always choose the combination of goods that maximizes their total utility. True or false?
This statement is true. A rational consumer will always choose the combination of goods that maximizes their total utility.
Excellent, Bushra. Can you explain why?
A rational consumer tries to get the most satisfaction from their limited resources. So they choose goods that maximize their total utility within their budget.
Great explanation. That's exactly right. Question 12. The law of demand states that when the price of a good rises, its quantity demanded will increase, all else being equal. True or false?
It's a false statement.
Correct, Ansh. It's a false statement. Can you explain why is it false?
The law of demand says that when the price of a good rises, the quantity demanded decreases, not increases, assuming other factors stay constant.
Correct, Ansh. When price increase, quantity demanded decreases. So this is a false statement. Let's move on to the next one. Question 13. The law of supply states that when the price of a good rises, the quantity supplied will increase, all else being equal. True or false?
It's a true statement, ma'am.
Right. The law of supply states that when the price of a good rises, the quantity supplied will increase, all else being equal. Nishant, can you explain why?
Ma'am, when prices go up, producers are more willing to supply the good because they can earn more profit. That's why the quantity supplied increases.
Excellent. That's a fundamental principle of supply. Question 14. If a good is free, it is not scarce. True or false?
It's a false statement, ma'am.
Correct. Why is it false, Ansh?
Even if a good is free, it can still be scarce if the supply is limited compared to demand. Scarcity is about availability, not price.
Exactly. A very important concept. Question 15. Microeconomics deals primarily with the behavior of the entire economy, such as national income and inflation. True or false?
It's a false statement, ma'am.
That's correct. Can you explain why it's a false?
Microeconomics looks at smaller units like households, firms, and markets. National income and inflation are part of macroeconomics.
Well explained. Let's keep going. Question 16. An increase in the supply of a good leads to a decrease in its price, assuming demand remains constant. True or false?
It's a true statement.
Correct, Nishant. An increase in the supply of a good leads to a decrease in its price, assuming demand remains constant. Can you explain why?
When supply increases but demand doesn't change, there's more of the good available, so prices drop to clear the excess supply.
Excellent reasoning. Moving on to next question. Question 17. Consumer equilibrium occurs when marginal utility per dollar spent is equal for all goods. True or false?
It's a true statement, ma'am.
Well done, Ansh. Why it's correct?
It's because consumers allocate their income to maximize total satisfaction by equalizing the marginal utility per dollar across all goods.
Absolutely right. Question 18. If a point on the PPC is unattainable with the available resources, it is considered efficient. True or false?
It's a false statement.
That's right. Can you explain why?
A point outside the PPC is unattainable because the economy doesn't have enough resources or technology to reach it. Efficiency only applies to points on the curve.
Good, Ansh. Good job. Question 19. Economic efficiency is achieved when the economy produces on the PPC. True or false?
It's a true statement, ma'am. Economic efficiency is achieved when the economy produces on the production possibilities curve.
Correct. It's true. Can you explain why?
When the economy operates on the PPC, it means resources are fully and efficiently used without any waste.
Great explanation. Well done. Question 20. Marginal utility is the total satisfaction gained from consuming one additional unit of a good. True or false?
It's true, ma'am.
Correct. Why is that true, Ansh?
Ma'am, marginal utility measures the extra satisfaction or benefit from consuming one more unit of a good.
Exactly. Nicely explained, Ansh. Question 21. The PPC is always a straight line if the opportunity cost of producing one good does not change. True or false?
It's a true statement, ma'am.
Correct, Nishant. The PPC is always a straight line if the opportunity cost of producing one good does not change. Why is that true?
A straight line PPC means the opportunity cost is constant, which happens when resources are equally efficient in producing both goods.
Excellent explanation, Nishant. Let's move on. Question 22. Microeconomics does not deal with issues like inflation and unemployment. True or false?
It's true, microeconomics does not deal with issues like inflation and unemployment.
That's right. Can you explain why?
Inflation and unemployment are part of macroeconomics because they involve the economy as a whole, not individual units.
Well done, Ansh. Spot on. Question 23. The invisible hand in economics refers to government intervention in markets. True or false?
It's a false statement, ma'am.
Correct, Bushra. Why is it false?
The invisible hand refers to how individual self-interest in a free market can lead to efficient outcomes without government intervention.
Excellent answer, Bushra. Let's keep going. Question 24. The production possibility curve, PPC, shows the trade-off between two goods given limited resources. True or false?
It's true statement, ma'am.
Correct. Can you explain why?
The PPC shows the maximum possible output of two goods that can be produced with the available resources, illustrating the trade-offs.
Great explanation, Nishant. Nicely done. Question 25. All economic decisions involve a trade-off because resources are limited. True or false?
It's true, ma'am.
Well done, Ansh. It's true, all economic decisions involve a trade-off because resources are limited. Why is it true?
Resources are scarce, so choosing one option means giving up another. That's the trade off.
Perfectly explained. Good work. Question 26. In the context of microeconomics, the term marginal refers to the total amount. True or false?
It's a false statement, ma'am.
That's right, Nishant. Why is it false?
Marginal refers to the additional or extra amount, not the total.
Excellent, Nishant. Marginal refers to the additional or extra amount, not the total. Let's continue. Question 27. In a perfectly competitive market, all firms sell identical products. True or false?
It's a true statement, ma'am.
Correct. Why is that true?
In perfect competition, products are homogeneous, so consumers see no difference between them, regardless of the seller.
Very good, Bushra. Excellent understanding. Question 28. An increase in consumer income generally increases the demand for inferior goods. True or false?
It's a false statement, ma'am.
Correct, Ansh. Why is it false?
Demand for inferior goods decreases when income increases because consumers prefer higher quality substitutes.
That's absolutely correct. Well done. An increase in consumer income generally increases the demand for normal goods, not inferior goods. Okay, class. Moving to next question. Question 29. A market economy is characterized by the central planning of economic activities by the government. True or false?
It's a false statement, ma'am.
Correct, Bushra. Can you explain its false?
In a market economy, decisions are driven by market forces like supply and demand, not central planning.
Perfect explanation, Bushra. Keep it up. Question 30. The principle of diminishing marginal utility states that as a person consumes more of a good, the additional satisfaction from consuming each additional unit decreases. True or false?
It's a true statement, ma'am.
Correct. Can you explain why?
As consumption increases, the extra satisfaction or utility from each additional unit decreases because the need is gradually being fulfilled.
Excellent explanation. To add further understanding, consider this. When we fulfill our basic needs first, the additional satisfaction decreases because those extra units are not as necessary or urgent. This concept explains why demand for a good eventually levels off. Question 31. Microeconomics studies the economy as a whole. including aggregate variables such as inflation and unemployment. True or false?
It's a false statement, ma'am.
Correct, Anj. Why is that false?
Microeconomics focuses on individual units like consumers and firms, not the economy as a whole. Aggregate variables are studied in macroeconomics.
Great explanation. Let's move on. Question 32. The ceteris paribus assumption means that all other factors remain constant when analyzing economic phenomena. True or false?
It's a true statement, ma'am.
That's right, Bushra. The ceteris paribus assumption means that all other factors remain constant when analyzing economic phenomena. Can you explain why?
Ceteris paribus helps isolate the effect of one variable by assuming other factors don't change.
Excellent, Bushra. Nicely done. Question 33. Opportunity cost is the benefit of the next best alternative that is foregone when making a decision. True or false?
It's a true statement, ma'am.
Correct, Nishant. Why is it true?
Opportunity cost measures the trade off in decisions since choosing one option means giving up another.
Perfect explanation. Good work. Question 34. A perfectly competitive market has many buyers and sellers with no barriers to entry or exit. True or false?
It's a true statement, ma'am.
Correct, Bushra. Why it's true?
In perfect competition, there are no restrictions on entering or leaving the market, and all participants are price takers.
Well said, Bushra. Great understanding. Question 35. A demand curve typically slopes upwards to the right. True or false?
It's a false statement, ma'am.
Correct, Ansh. Why is it false?
The demand curve slopes downwards to the right because higher prices reduce quantity demanded and lower prices increase it.
Excellent, Ansh. Let's continue. Question 36. The demand curve represents the relationship between the price of a good and the quantity demanded by consumers. True or false?
It's a true statement. The demand curve represents the relationship between the price of a good and the quantity demanded by consumers.
Correct. Why is that true?
The demand curve shows how changes in price influence consumer demand, holding other factors constant.
Very good, Bushra. Nicely done. Question 37. Marginal cost is the additional cost incurred from producing one more unit of a good. True or false?
It's a true statement, ma'am. Marginal cost is the additional cost incurred from producing one more unit of a good.
Correct. Can you explain why it's true?
Marginal cost measures the cost of increasing production by one unit, helping firms decide optimal production levels.
Excellent, Ange. Let's move forward. Question 38. If demand increases, the price of the good will typically decrease, assuming supply remains constant. True or false?
It's a false statement, ma'am.
Correct. Why is it false?
When demand increases and supply stays the same, the price usually rises due to higher competition for the good.
Great explanation. Question 39. A shift in the supply curve occurs when there is a change in the price of the good. True or false?
No, it's not correct. It's a false statement.
Correct, Nishant. A shift in the supply curve does not occur when there is a change in the price of the good. Can you explain why?
A shift in the supply curve happens due to factors like input costs or technology, not changes in the goods price.
Excellent explanation, Nishant. Well done. Question 40. Microeconomics focuses on the functioning of specific markets rather than the economy as a whole. True or false?
It's a true statement.
Correct. Microeconomics focuses on the functioning of specific markets, not the economy as a whole. Can you explain why?
Microeconomics studies individual markets, like supply and demand, to understand how specific economic units operate, not with economy as a whole.
Well explained, Bushra. Great job. Question 41. Price elasticity of demand measures how much the quantity demanded responds to changes in income. True or false?
It's a false statement.
Correct. Price elasticity of demand does not measures how much the quantity demanded responds to changes in income. Why is that false?
Price elasticity of demand measures the response of quantity demanded to price changes, not income changes. Income elasticity deals with income changes.
Excellent clarification, Ansh. Let's proceed. Question 42. A price ceiling above the equilibrium price is effective and leads to shortages. True or false?
It's a false statement, ma'am.
That's right, Nishant. Why is it false?
A price ceiling is the highest price a seller can charge for a product or service, and if it's set above equilibrium, it has no effect since prices are already lower.
Very well explained, Nishant. Question 43. Consumer surplus occurs when consumers are willing to pay more for a good than they actually do. True or false?
It's a true statement.
Correct, Bushra. Consumer surplus occurs when consumers are willing to pay more for a good than they actually do. Can you elaborate why?
Consumer surplus is the difference between what consumers are willing to pay and what they actually pay, representing extra satisfaction.
Excellent job. Consumer surplus occurs when consumers are willing to pay more for a good than they actually do. Okay, class. Question 44. The principle of diminishing marginal returns applies only to labor and not to other inputs. True or false?
It's a false statement.
Correct. Why is that false?
Diminishing marginal returns can apply to any input, not just labor. It occurs when adding more of an input leads to smaller increases in output.
Perfect. Diminishing marginal returns is an economic principle that states that adding more of a factor of production after a certain point will result in smaller increases in output. For example, if you eat food, a time will come when eating more will stop satisfying you or even make you feel uncomfortable. Question 45. In microeconomics, equilibrium occurs when the quantity demanded equals the quantity supplied. True or false?
It's a true statement, ma'am.
That's right. Why is it true?
At equilibrium, the market clears, meaning there's no surplus or shortage, and supply meets demand.
Good explanation, Ansh. Question 46. The income effect refers to the change in quantity demanded of a good due to a change in income. True or false?
It's a true statement, ma'am.
Correct, Bushra. The income effect refers to the change in quantity demanded of a good due to a change in income. Can you explain?
The income effect is the change in demand for goods and services that results from a change in income. For example, if someone gets a raise, they might buy more expensive food or clothing because they can afford it.
Well explained. Question 47. In a perfectly competitive market, firms are price takers. True or false?
It's a true statement.
Correct. In a perfectly competitive market, firms are price takers. Can you explain why?
In perfect competition, no single firm can influence the price because all firms sell identical products and face high competition.
Great explanation, Nishant. Question 48. Public goods are non-excludable and non-rivalrous. True or false?
It's a true statement.
That's correct. Can you elaborate?
Public goods can't be limited to paying customers, and one person's use doesn't reduce availability for others, like streetlights.
Perfect example. We can take public parks, roads, power supply, etc. All are public goods. Question 49. The production possibility curve illustrates the concept of trade-offs and opportunity costs. True or false?
It's a true statement.
Correct. The production possibility curve illustrates the concept of trade-offs and opportunity costs. Why is it true?
The PPC shows how producing more of one good means producing less of another due to limited resources, demonstrating trade-offs.
Well said. Producing one good will less the productions of other goods due to limited resources. Question 50. Microeconomics examines aggregate variables such as inflation and GDP. True or false?
It's a false statement, ma'am.
Correct. Why is that false?
Microeconomics focuses on individual markets and decisions, while inflation and GDP comes under macroeconomics.
Alright students, that's all for today's video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments section below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more helpful content. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. For more information or to purchase the full course, feel free to reach out to us.